Hello, everybody. This is Suzanne in Ohio. Now, this is a short video just to get you started in case you want to work along with me on painting on fabric. So I laid this here for the opening scene, and this is a painted pillow front that I showed in my last video. Now, if you didn't see that, it's worth watching. So go back and watch that video, and then you'll know where we're going from here. But I wanted to get you started in case you want to paint along with me. So after I go through the little steps of getting you up and running, then we're going to actually paint something together. So this will be, I hope, a series of videos, short, but taking the steps one at a time. All right, so now that you see where we're heading, then let's look at some of our perimeters here, and I'll explain a few things for you. Now, if you need to copy this down, take a screenshot, or just go back and watch what I'm saying here. Watch it 2-3 times. Now, the disclaimer is this is my technique that I'm using for this project only. This is how I'm going about it. There's hundreds of ways that you can approach painting on fabric, but this is the method I'm using right now. All right, first you need an image, an idea of what you want to paint and what you're going to use it for. And so here's some ideas. You can, if you have a drawing of your own, you can use that. You can execute that into a project like this. If you need some ideas for images and subject matter, here's 2 free places on the internet where you can get images. Now, the first one is publicdomainpictures.net, and the next one is pixabay.com. When you go to those sites, they will give you a search bar, and you can put in things like pumpkins, crows, uh, sunflowers, and any of those images that you want to work from. You can either take a screenshot of it if you're on your phone or iPad, or you can download it and you can print them if you want to actually trace a picture. If you want to just use their pictures to give you an idea of how to sketch out your own, that's a possibility too. That in and of itself is an endless subject. But let's just say you have an idea, you have an image, and you're going to sketch it out. All right. So you want to sketch it out, and then you want to transfer the image to the fabric. And my suggestion is you're going to use one of these Frixion pens, and I just happen to have one in red. I believe it comes in blue, black, and red, and maybe some other colors. Now, these are not hard to find. They're actually in just the stationery department of your store. They are called an erasable pen. But the wonderful thing about them is the marks that you make with this pen can be erased with your iron, with heat. So I mark up my design with this, paint right over top of it, and then when I heat set my paint, this disappears. All right, so there's an idea for that. Um, and that it's by Pilot, and it's called Frixion. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is start painting. And then you're going to decide your style. Now, some people don't know their style, or you have a specific style in mind. For instance, if you go back and watch my former video, you'll notice that I did one primitive style pillow front from my girlfriend. So I'm not all that familiar with primitive styles, so I just went on Pinterest and looked up primitive artwork and just took a good study of how artists execute something to look primitive. Then you'll need some brushes. Now the brushes I'm going to use in this series are just a cheap set that I bought at Joann's, because as I told you in the last video, all my stuff is in storage. And I'm going to go over paint brushes with you at that time when we get to that point, because in that pack were some pretty decent brushes and others were absolute trash. So I'm just going to tell you which ones I would throw away. You're going to need a cup of water and some paint. And paint doesn't have to be anything special. It can be any craft paint. And what I would suggest is that you make sure you have red, yellow, and blue, true yellow, true red, and then black and white, and then get yourself a brown of some kind and a gray of some kind. You can mix all those things yourself, but get the colors you want. That's cheap enough for just about anybody. Sometimes you can even find it at your thrift store. And then we'll talk more about mixing colors when we get to that point. So let's back up here a minute. Get yourself an image. And let's assume that I'm going to sketch my own image. All right. So what I have here is a piece of freezer paper. You can see the waxy side, and you can see this right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my image on this freezer paper. Now, if you have a light tray, you can use it, or you can do the old-fashioned hold it up to the window thing. Let's say you even print something out from the internet. So let me get a little print. Sometimes I print things out. If it's a free photo, then I print it out, and maybe I can just shrink it or enlarge it in my program. Let's see what I've got in here. Well, I've got this chickadee, and let's say I just want to paint his head. Or here's a small version of him, and I could paint a tiny whole body and anything I want. So if you're going to use an image from the internet and you get it sized just right, put it underneath your freezer paper, hold it up to the window, and just with a pencil sketch on your basic outline. And so let's just, let me think what I have in here. Okay, I have some holly. Now, here's an image that I printed off. This is another artist's work, so I would never copy that. But what I wanted to do was study this technique they used in the background, which is negative space, to imply the pine branches. And I was working on learning that. I thought also I would do some holly. So let's think about the holly for a minute. I just wanted to, this is another artist's work here too, but this is a vintage greeting card. So did you know that anything that's earlier than 1922 is a free image? Nobody owns the image unless they have used the image to manipulate it and add it to other graphic arts work. But if it's just a plain image off of a greeting card or old lithograph or anything like that, that's public domain. So let's pretend like I'm just going to use my printout as a study guide. So what I'll do is just sketch me some holly here, and not exactly true to exactly what they have done. And you can see, there we have it, a holly leaf. Now I realize that's too light for you to see right there, but what I will do next is, after I get my image exactly the way I want it, I'm going to trace around it with a fine marker. And it doesn't have to be perfect, I'm telling you, because you're not going to exactly stay within the lines when you paint it anyway. You're going to allow the paint to kind of work for you. And the texture on your fabric will help you also. That method will allow you to get a very painterly kind of image. And you're going to like your artwork after you're done. So here we have our image on freezer paper, on the paper side, not the wax side. And then what I did was take a scrap of my canvas, and I have it ready, and I can pin this on and go up to the window and get my drawing on my canvas with my Frixion pen. But because I'm not going to leave my workspace right now, I'm just going to resketch that holly leaf right here. And again, it's with the Frixion pen. And see, my little point here needs to be more pointy, so I just go over that and correct it, because all those marks are going to get erased with my iron when I'm done. Now, holly doesn't have very big stem, and there you have it. So there's my basic thing that I'm going to start with. So what I want to encourage you to do from this point is look through Pinterest, look through those two websites I gave you, and go to old greeting cards if you have some, just anything where you have some images, and pick out something that you want to work with. Now on my pillows, what I did was I specifically wanted oversized images. I didn't want a whole bunch of little images because that involves just a whole lot of painting and painting and painting. So I wanted large images, and I wanted to execute them oversized for the impact on those decor pillows. So get that ready. Now, one other thing I want you to get ready is a painting board. That was on my list, and I'm going to show you what I did. All I did was take a piece of cardboard off of an Amazon box, pretty good size, about 20 by 20 or 18 by 18, and I covered it with freezer paper with the shiny side up. Put the shiny side up because that's going to resist your moisture. And what you're going to do is that's just going to be what you lay your canvas on when you start painting. And then you can turn it around and do anything you want to do. So please get your supplies and things ready, and then I'll be back with the next video probably yet today, and we will start putting some paint on this canvas. And boy, things get exciting. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you will paint with me. And if you're interested in seeing the next one, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Thanks for watching.